Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra Unit 9.3 in class practice. Today we're going to be talking about parent functions and transformations of quadratic functions. So remember what we talked about, the vertex can help you identify horizontal and vertical shifts without the use of a graph or a calculator. So the parent function, remember we just said that's the basic quadratic function, f of x equals x squared. Remember we also said that this is the same if it was y equals x squared, okay? The vertex of that function was 0, 0. Now, if you don't believe me, here I am plugging it directly into our calculator, x squared. I look at the graph, and where's the vertex? Yeah, the vertex is at 0, 0. Good. Now, a transformed function in quadratic form, what's the vertex of this one? Well, what form is this in? Yeah, okay, this is in vertex form, and remember we take the opposite, and this number stays the same, okay? So the vertex is -8, -3. So compared, if we're looking at the x and y, how many spots to the left did it go? Okay, it moved 8 spots left because it's saying -8. And then what about to the right? How many spots to the right did it go? Or, I mean, not to the right, because we already circled left. Up or down, that's the y. It went 3 spots down. Now, once again, if you don't believe Mr. Grice, here we go. I'm going to plug in that equation for y2. We have negative in parentheses x plus 8 quantity squared minus 3. So now this graph is going to come in red. You can tell that it moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots to the left and then 3 spots down. Okay, so that's what it's saying. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to identify the transformations, the reflections or shifts of each function compared to the parent function, f of x equals x squared. So let's zoom in and look at number 1. So remember, the reflection is all about whether it's positive or negative. If you look at our graph, our red one was reflected because when we go back to the equation, it was negative, okay? So is there a reflection here? We would say yes, and it's going to be across the x-axis. So what's our vertex? Remember, the vertex, we take the opposite, and this stays the same. So my vertex is going to be a positive 7, 8. So remember that the horizontal shift is our x. So we would go right 7. And then our y, what's our y tell us to do? The y tells us to go up or down. And since it's positive, we are going to go up 8. Okay, let's look at number 2. So the first thing, is there a reflection? No reflection, okay? Excuse me, if you wanted to know what it would look like, if there's no reflection, that means it's going to be going up. And then the last one, if there was a reflection, that means it's going to be going down. So vertex, we take the opposite, so that's going to be -3. And this number stays the same, but there's no number out there. Well, technically there is. We can say that there's +0 right there, but we don't write that. So it's 0. So what does the x tell us to do? Well, it's negative, so that means we're going to go left 3. And the y, yeah, there's none. So that stays the same. Now for any of these, if you're having trouble with it, you could always just plug it into our calculator. All right, let's look at number 3. Is there a reflection for 3? Yeah, and it's going to be across the x-axis. Well, yes, if there's a reflection, it's always going to be across the x-axis this year, okay? Later on, when you get into Algebra 2 or Advanced Algebra 2, yeah, there's going to be some different ones, okay? So, but right now that's why we're saying it's across the x-axis. All right, our vertex, remember, opposite, and this stays the same. Okay, so our vertex is -4, -5. So what's that mean for the x? It means that we are going to go left 4, and for the y, we're going to go down 5. Okay, so since there was a reflection, our graph would be facing down. All right, number 4. So first thing, I know it's weird because it's not in vertex form. Okay, and that'll show up in a second. Now, is there a reflection? Nope. That's how our graph's going to look. Now, you don't have to draw that picture. I'm just doing that for myself. Now, vertex. This is where I would be like, well, what's inside parentheses? Well, since there's nothing inside parentheses, that's going to be my 0, and this stays the same. So is there a vertical shift or a horizontal shift? Blech. Nope, none. It stays right at 0. And then I'm going to take the y, which is positive, so that means we're going to go, not right, Mr. Grice. Vertical is up and down, so we're going to go up 9. What do you think? You guys starting to get the hang of this? Let's find out. All right, why don't you guys do 5 and 6? Go ahead and pause the video, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so there we go for number 5. There's a reflection across the x-axis because it was negative. Our vertex was -610, which means we go left 6 and up 10. Number 6, once again, there's a reflection across the x-axis. Our vertex was 0, -2, which means there was no horizontal shift, and then we went down 2. All right. Once again, number 7 and 8, you guys are on your own. Pause the video and good luck. Okay, and there are the answers. So if you have any questions on those ones, please come in and ask for help. Okay, let's go back and flip it over. So now what we're going to do is we're going to graph these, talk about the domain and range, and we're not going to use a calculator, okay? Let's see if we can do this without one. All right, so let's take a look at our function. G of x equals x plus 1 quantity squared minus 3. So the first thing that we need, that we always need, is we need our vertex. So what's our vertex? Yeah, our vertex is going to be -1, -3. Okay, so when we're talking about the transformations, the first thing I want to know is there a reflection? Okay, it's positive, right? So since it's positive, there is no reflection. And now let's talk about the transformation. What is the vertex telling us to do? Okay, well, it's telling us that we need to go left 1 and then down 3. Okay, so as I start, I'm going to go left 1 and down 3. There is my first point. And remember, we had a pattern. We went up 1 over 1, and then we went up 3 over 1. Okay? Now, if you forgot exactly how to say it, I'm going to go to the website real fast and pull up our notes. Okay? So hold on. You guys, I'll let you actually watch me. See? I'm going in class Carranza. It's one of my favorites. We're going to go to Algebra 1. And for some reason that's not working. So we're going to come over and look at the Algebra 1 Unit 9 calendar. There's the key to what we did. And let's look to see exactly how we said it. Okay. Up 1 over 1, up 3, right 1. Okay, see that's exactly from our notes. Okay, so that's what we did. And now we're going to draw the line. Okay, so here we go, graphing it. All right, so let's talk about the domain. Now, the domain is from left to right. Remember, that's horizontal. And are there any limits to that? No. So if there are no limits, it's going to be x's all real numbers. Okay. Now, for y, though, y there's a limit. What's the lowest our graph goes? Yeah, it's right there. It doesn't go below -3. So what that means is that, but it goes higher because that's which way our graph is going. So y is going to be greater than or equal to -3. All right. Let's do number 10. So the first thing that we need to find is we need to find the vertex. Okay, the vertex is the most important part. So our vertex, remember, we take the opposite of what's inside, so that's going to be a 5, and then the other number stays the same. So is there a reflection? Yeah, okay. There's going to be a reflection where? Okay, reflection across the x-axis. Now, what's our vertex tell us to do? Okay, our vertex is going to tell us that we're going to go, yeah, we go right 5, and then we're going to go up 9. Okay, so I'm going right 5, up 9. There's my first point. And instead of going up 1 over 1, I'm going to go down 1 over 1. Down 3, right 1. And there we go. Now I'm going to draw my graph, the parabola. Got to make sure to have our arrows. And now let's talk about the domain. So our domain, left to right, all real numbers. Okay? Now what about our range? Since our graph is going down, okay, I know that it's going to be less than or equal to, and Where is it less than or equal to? Yeah, it's less than or equal to positive 9. There we go. All right, let's move on. Let's look at number 11. You guys want to try it on your own? Why don't you do it? Okay, let's go ahead and pause the video and see how you do. Okay, so there is my parabola. There was a reflection because it was negative. Our vertex was negative 4, 6. So we had to go left 4, up 6. And now I'm getting ready to write my domain and range. So my domain is all real numbers. And then for y is less than or equal to positive 6. Okay? And I get the positive 6 because that's as high as my graph goes. Okay? And then it's less than that because it always goes below. Okay? Last one. Okay? Once again, you guys are all on your own. Pause the video and good luck. Okay, and there we go. Our vertex is 7, negative 8. There is no reflection. We went right 7, down 8 for our vertex. The domain is all real numbers. And our range is y is greater than or equal to negative 8. Okay? Now, remember, if you're having trouble with this stuff, you can just come in here. I'm going to erase all my other functions. But if you're having difficulty with this, it's okay to plug it into your calculator just to double check. So there we go. X minus 7, quantity squared minus 8. And there you go. You can see that the vertex, where the vertex is, and just to check if you got it right. Now, if you have any questions or need extra help, please come see Miss Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Otherwise, this is Mr. Grice signing off for Algebra Unit 9.3 in class practice. Thanks for watching.